Hello and welcome. Do you find that it's difficult to deal with your coworkers in the workplace? Then this video is for you. This training is intended for people who have dealt with difficult people in their workplace in the past, present, or future. Throughout the training video, we'll be using this book, Working with Difficult People by Muriel Solomon, to help you learn how to work with difficult people. As Muriel always says, no matter how bright you are, being angry, hurt, or disappointed blocks your good judgment. The purpose of this book is to provide you logical action instead of emotional reaction. This training is about communicating effectively on the job.
Although this book might have some age to it, being published in 1990, you know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Muriel Solomon defines 10 different types of difficult people. Hostile and angry, pushy and presumptuous, deceitful and underhanded, shrewd and manipulative, rude and abrasive, egotistical and self-centered, procrastinators, rigid, uncommunicative, and critical. We don't have time to cover all 10 of these, but we will be focusing on Part 1, Hostile and Angry People. Chapter 1 is about belligerent bosses. You just can't reason with the enraged. The 4 types of belligerent bosses are tyrants, bullies, sadists, and time bombs.
Tyrannical bosses are abusive and abrasive. They delude themselves that they're the only ones who know the right answers. Criticizing these bosses make attacks worse. They think they do not get the respect they deserve. Meanwhile, you're just trying to make decisions when it's your job to do so. When dealing with a tyrannical boss, your goal is to get the boss to treat you civilly and courteously and stop being so overbearing. There's one of 3 things you can do to get this goal. Prepare to act, appear firm, strong, and unemotional, and lastly, use tact to get attention and respect.
Here's an example of dealing with a tyrannical boss.
You are wrong. Shut up and listen. If you don't follow directions, you can clean out your desk and your history.
Okay, I can obviously see you don't agree, but you're the boss and you're the final say.
Hey.
Excuse me. I'm not through. Give me 30 seconds to finish this point.
Bully bosses. These bosses are habitually cruel and use hate and fear as weapons of control. Their most common weapon, belittlement. They think that others are weaker and less capable. They're easily angered and feel a need to prove that they are right. Meanwhile, you feel that you're being emotionally blackmailed. You're often very tense and on the edge at work. Your goal when dealing with a bully boss is to protect your job by redeeming your self-esteem and gaining the bully's respect. Part 1, let that bully vent without stopping him. Part 2, deal with the problem without criticizing the way he's thinking. If some parts of what he says confuses you, tell him. Part 3, be wary about ganging up to make a complaint.
Hey, shut the fuck up! I've heard enough out of both of you today. Lloyd, go. You guys should have had this out in the carpool inn.
We don't carpool, Ari. We live on opposite sides of town.
Really? Because I would have pictured you two living in the same condo together in like bunk beds with a little race car.
Ari.
Shut up! Don't say another word. Pretend like you're afraid of me, okay? Because I'm feeling very insecure right now.
Sadist bosses. These bosses take pleasure in causing you difficulty. They are hostile and deliberately mean, and they demand blind obedience but continue to change the rules. They think that others are complacent, and they somehow think that embarrassing and causing difficulty will motivate their employees. Your goal is to reduce your daily stress on the job. Step 1 is to stand up for yourself. Ask your boss to please sit down and look him in the eye, and then calmly explain that you wish to be treated with respect. The second step is to learn the recourse that you have in your company. If your boss thinks that his behavior may be tagged unprofessional to his boss, he'll want to do something to avoid that.
Prize around every corner.
Oh, I love that.
You see, he's laying in a koi pond. Isn't that brilliant? In the kitchen.
Like that
I do too.
idea.
The flow in this room is going to be fabulous. The parties that you will have, you won't believe it. Unfortunately, the trades are stacking a bit.
Excuse me. You don't have to hit me.
This is where the Ed Boucher is going to go. Excuse me?
I'm sweeping. You don't have to hit me with a whip. We got a horse outside? Don't hit me with the whip, please.
What's your name?
My name's not important. I'm trying to do a job.
What's your name?
My name's not important.
What's your name?
My name is Bob Resigliano.
Bob Resigliano. Well, you stay after school, Bob Resigliano.
Don't hit me with your fucking whip again, man. I'm serious.
Time bomb bosses. These bosses have unexpected anger eruptions. Their actions are unplanned. They throw childish tantrums as a defense mechanism. They cannot tolerate opposing opinions, and they think they are being reasonable when they really are not. There's 3 goals to defuse the time bomb. The first is to protect yourself. The second is to be patient, to wait for the exploder to run down to regain self-control. And third, tactfully resume talking if he calms down. You should acknowledge his thoughts, show that you understand the issue, and reassure him that you're not on his side and are not questioning his authority.
Jahan's boss has just asked him to work weekends. Jahan said he couldn't do it, and they got into a short argument during which his boss reacted as a time bomb. Here's how Jahan should respond.
Boss, you know I respect your decisions, and I've always been a team player. I realize how important it is to have all bases covered. I just wanted you to consider how I feel when I have to work weekends because I'm unmarried, and you don't ask Mary or Peter because they have families. I feel like I'm being punished and treated unfairly, boss, and I wanted you to see this from another angle.
Chapter 2 is about belligerent colleagues. There are 3 types of belligerent colleagues: tacklers, enviers, and intimidators.
Tackler colleagues. These are colleagues that will personally attack you during arguments. They are determined to score points with the boss, so they tackle you and your ideas. They twist things you say, and they think that you are trying to show them up and they want to beat you. The goal of dealing with a tackler colleague is to maintain professionalism as you carry out your assignments. Step 1, continue your game plan. Don't allow the tackler to stop you in your tracks. Step 2, talk to him privately. Say you'd like to have a better relationship and ask how he thinks that is possible. Step 3, learn where you can and can't expect support.
Here's an example of how one should deal with a tackler colleague.
When we divided the work, you said you'd be responsible for the research job.
Why do you always have it out for me? You're always so mean just to me. You're a tyrant.
Obviously, my role misconstrued. There are 3 areas which we need more concentration.
Envious colleagues. These colleagues are resentful and want what you have. They believe that they should have what you have. They are often consumed with getting revenge. They think that others make a big fuss over you and they cannot see all the hard work that you put in to be where you are. Meanwhile, you know all the hard work you put in and feel that they are self-centered. The goal here, when dealing with envious colleagues, is to protect yourself and, if possible, help your colleague think more positively. Step 1, keep your talks on a high and friendly level. Step 2, convey that each person's effort is judged on its own merit. Step 3, encourage the envier.
About the work, most immediately, there's going to be some things that you're going to be able to get that other people in the office don't get. One of them, gym membership.
Hey, you want me to lose weight?
No, I don't want you to lose weight.
No, we can't legally ask you to do that.
We didn't say lose weight. I might say tighten.
Tight.
A little tighter.
Just like toned and smaller.
Don't make everything smaller. I don't want to generalize that way. Tighter.
We don't want you to lose weight. We just want you to be healthy. Okay. You know, by eating less. We would just like it if you go home and step on a scale and write down how much you weigh and subtract it by like 20. 20. And then weigh that much.
Just remember, you've got it here, you've got it here, and everybody's going to see you right there.
Intimidating colleagues gain support by implying they can hurt or embarrass you. They do not outright threaten you, but they will imply that it will happen if you not go along with the way they want. This is a form of perceived power. They think that you are a threat, and they need to support you to stay in good standing at work. The goal with dealing with intimidating colleagues is to keep control of yourself and your actions through 4 simple steps. Rehearse retorts at home, force yourself to appear poised and calm, psych yourself, and know when to laugh it off.
You never fired your weapon in the office.
We all have, you know. It's called a desk pop.
Fellas, look, I know you don't respect me as a police officer.
Not true.
I'm not stupid. I'm not going to discharge my firearm in the office.
Gamble, listen to me. I'll try to make it real clear. We honor the flag, and you crap on it when you don't shoot your gun in the office.
Jimmy, when's the last time you had a desk pop?
September 08. Be a man. Do this now. Please do it.
Pop one off.
There you go. Pop it off.
Don't think, just go.
Here we go.
Do it, yes.
He did it. Shots fired.
Hey, Terry, I did my first desk pop.
The third and final chapter is about belligerent subordinates. The 3 types of belligerent subordinates are hotheads, revengers, and snipers. Hothead subordinates. These subordinates will start arguments among other workers because they cannot cope well with pressure, and provoking fights makes them feel better. They will provoke arguments even when they're not angry, and they think that others are against them or that they go unnoticed. Your main goal is to keep your team from being disrupted and help the hothead articulate his anger and deal with it constructively and productively. Step 1, review your management style to make sure that you aren't rewarding non-performance and that you're treating your subordinates fairly. Step 2 is to wait to discuss the problem until after the hothead has calmed down, and then talk about the anger and refuse to take a stand. Step 3 is to work together to resolve the issue and see what will make him feel better. And step 4 is to refuse to be a referee. When two workers are fighting and look to you to take a side, refuse to take that side.
Here's a little news flash. It's not funny. In fact, it's pretty freaking unfunny. Ow! That was an overreaction. Gonna hit the break room. Does anybody want anything?
Revenger subordinates. These subordinates believe they have been mistreated in some way. They often misread comments or mannerisms and feel that you are disappointed in them. They are sometimes workers who are transferred because of company reorganization, and they think that what happened in the past is wrong and they must teach you a lesson. The goal of dealing with a revenger subordinate is to get the revenger to behave more cooperatively by teaching them that speaking out honestly is the way to get what you want. The steps include 1. Clear up misconceptions, and 2. Give honest, more frequent recognition by explaining how important your workers are to the company. Step 3 includes express your appreciation immediately. As soon as the job is done, tell the worker you have noticed how much he has improved. Step 4, plan ahead when changes will disrupt your workers.
This is an example of Jahan dealing with his revenger subordinate.
Bo, you're usually so animated about your assignments, but you've been awfully quiet this past week, especially when I stop by your desk. Are you annoyed at something I've done? I really wish you'd tell me.
Well, frankly, I'm upset that I'm not the head of a new division.
I know you're disappointed, but as I explained to you, we're going to have to hold off from forming that division. It may take another year. In the meantime, you could be a tremendous help to us by...
Well, I guess I can see a plan for me.
Sniper subordinates. These subordinates attack you under some kind of cover, usually disguised as a joke. They wait to attack you until they are safely surrounded by an audience. Unless they tell you, there's no real way to know why they have a negative attitudes towards you. They think that you are better than everyone else and that insulting you will take you down. Meanwhile, you're wondering why they're even insulting you in the first place. Your goal for dealing with sniper subordinates is to maintain your leadership stance, restore any damage done, and prevent future attacks. Step 1, show that you won't stand for being put down. Step 2, keep your tone light and your message clear. Step 3, confront the sniper in private.
In our final example, James is dealing with his sniper subordinate.
Maybe it's my imagination, but some of your remarks at the meeting this morning seem sarcastic. Is there anything I did wrong to offend you?
Boss, come on. Where's your sense of humor?
You know I enjoy a good joke as much as the next person, but cutting remarks are unnecessary and hurtful. I realize you didn't mean anything to offend me, but you did, and I appreciate if you'd stop doing that. Thank you.
And that is how you work with difficult people. Thank you.
Yeah, I am a man, up in the air. And I run around the town and act like I don't care.